What's going on, drivers? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for listening. And this is not a trucking topic. I'm sorry, but as you guys know, I like to touch on many different topics on my channel, not just trucking. But this particular topic I will touch on because I am a gig worker. Yes, I'm a truck driver by trade, gig worker by hustle. Yes, call it what you want. Some of you guys out there be tripping on me like, man, what, you lost your job? No. You quit? No. Just don't like trucking no more? No, ain't none of that. I still drive. I still like my job, and I still like the truck. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But gig work, as of late, adds an extra layer of income. Now, see, a lot of you that frown upon it. I have a female truck driver that try to clown me for it. She's the main one that keeps complaining about how she's not making no money, how she's getting $800, how she's complaining about putting in all that work and not seeing a profit afterwards. That's the same one that be clowning me about, oh, you out there, DoorDash. Oh, just make sure you get my DoorDash food to you. Oh, yeah, I can make sure I can do that. I can make sure that you do that. Just make sure you give me the tip. Make sure that tip is good, because if it's not, your food is going to sit. I don't care who you are. You're not putting no tip on that, your food is going to sit. Now, for these new DoorDashers that's coming in, because DoorDash is making it easy for just about anybody to come in. It's saturated the market. See, DoorDash don't care about you. DoorDash only cares about getting the products to the people that order. That's it. DoorDash made their money already. They made their money on service fees. They made their money on the contracts. The big wigs that make these apps is already paid. They relying on you to take these $2 trips. They relying on you to take these 9-tip orders. They enticing you to do the earn by time, run your car ragged, run you ragged. And all you're going to do is just come back online and talk about how bad DoorDash is treating you. But you got to understand, it's your choice to do DoorDash. It's my choice to do DoorDash, right? Why are so many DoorDash drivers are quitting though? Well, there could be a number of reasons. If you ever considered driving for DoorDash, I know you have. You probably might be in between jobs. You probably got kicked off the truck. You probably got fired. You probably said, bump trucking because I'm tired of it. And you decide to get into gig work like DoorDash. I don't know if this video might be for you. It might be for you. It might be for you. Let's see if there's any alternatives to DoorDash. Is there? The top 2 alternatives to DoorDash is Grubhub, which is garbage, and Uber Eats is kind of meh. But is there better alternatives out there other than DoorDash and Uber Eats? Maybe. Let's get into it. If you remember the first time you started DoorDash back in the day, it was great. DoorDash was great. DoorDash at that time when it first started, I believe it was like, what, $5 for base pay? But see, wonder why it was $5 for base pay. I'll tell you why, because DoorDash was just starting. They was just trying to get a feel for what they can do. Think about that. The excitement of being your own boss, which technically, yeah, that's how Uber and Lyft was back in the day. They gave you the same excitement of being your own boss and making your own money on your own time and on your own schedule. But of course, as time went on, you start to notice some serious issues that kind of made you rethink your decision. It made me rethink mine. You thought that you could easily make a decent income. But of course, this is reality. These apps aren't here for you to get rich. It's just not. It's something that's to hold you over type deal. When you really think about it, that's all it is. Something to hold you over. Now these commercials, these DoorDash commercials that be putting up the fake persona that the person that's in the commercial making real money and having fun doing it. Nah. Let me just share some challenges that some of these drivers be facing. So first up, let's talk about unreliable earnings. It went from $5 to $4 to now the base pay being $2 an order. You find that the income wasn't as consistent as promised. One day you could be making $100, which is a goal for many of us. The next day you probably might be scraping by with just $10, $15, $20. It's like a roller coaster ride. You never know what to expect, and that the unpredictability can be stressful, especially when you're relying on this as your main source of income, which I highly suggest that you don't. I said this many a times in past live feeds. I talked about the fact that you shouldn't be doing this as a full-time job. Now, I know many of you do. I met many of DoorDashers in my area, and some of them be running 24/7, non-stop. And some of them even incorporates the rideshare part of it. Like if you have Uber Eats, they do Uber as well. Like for example, they would get an order that would take them out of the zone, and then they'll switch over to the rideshare side to get a ride that will bring them back into the zone, which is not a bad idea, because if you do have Uber Eats, it's not a bad idea to have Uber, especially when these apps be taking you way out of the zone for less money. Next, let's discuss the strict requirements for maintaining that bullshit platinum status. Now, just for shits and giggles, I ran my AR all the way up to like 98%, and I was in the platinum status program. But was I getting the platinum status orders? No. To qualify, you need to meet certain metrics, like high acceptance ratings, which is around 70-ish. And you got to keep up the delivery, which is like 100 deliveries or something like that. The pressure to maintain these standards can be overwhelming. Now, some can do it. I'm not saying that they can't. I'm not saying that it can't be done, but some can do it. But here's the caveat. If you miss a few deliveries, that can and will drop your AR status real quick. Hey, we got a $5 order for you. Wait a minute, I'm in the platinum. Platinum says I am able to get high priority, or I am high priority for high paying orders. $5 is not a high paying order, at least in my opinion. So you're not getting the same opportunities as before, because once you start not accepting those orders, then what they're going to do is start hitting your AR. 99, 98, 97, 96. And then next thing you be down to 70. Next thing you be down to 50. Next thing, like me, you'll be down to 6%. There's other issues that you should be looking at, right? Like wear and tear on your car. And if you continue to drive your car the way DoorDash wants you to drive it, trust me, that new 2024 you got, you'll end up getting the new 2025 the next following year. Every delivery adds miles to your car, and it shortens the life expectancy of the car. Believe me, I know. I had a Ford F-150. Before I started gig work with the rideshare, my truck was at about a little under 100,000 miles. When I got finished with rideshare, it was over 200,000 miles just by doing rideshare. And believe me, with a Ford F-150, that comes with a lot of maintenance costs. Them tires wasn't cheap. That oil change wasn't cheap. Getting flush out for your radiator isn't cheap. Trying to keep your engine good isn't cheap. So running these DoorDash for $2 base pay, non-tips, and the end of it all is like $5 for 20 miles, $10 for 30 miles, $10 from going out of the zone. They order in Cleveland and they want you to deliver in Euclid, Ohio. Willoughby, Ohio for $15? Come on now. It will have you to think. Now, let me flip it over to the rideshare side, because you can finagle the rideshare side. And with that, they started letting people rent vehicles for rideshare, which I think is a great idea. I believe there's a truck driver. She goes by the name of Dirty Trucking, and she does Uber. Very entertaining young lady. I don't know if Uber making her go crazy, but she got some entertaining content. You guys should go over there and check her out. Dirty Trucking on YouTube. She rents the car from Hertz, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. It's from Hertz, and I think it's like $300 a week. And again, that's a good idea, because if you have a vehicle, renting the car for $300 a week, once you get that $300 threshold, everything else is profit. And you don't have to use your vehicle. You don't have to run up your vehicle. You don't have to run your vehicle in the ground. You could just use the rental car that you can get with Uber. Uber do have a rental car program. Check it out. So let's get back to the DoorDash inefficiencies and frustrations for these drivers, right? You will find yourself spending a significant amount of time, gas, and repairs, which will eat into your earnings. It will eat into your earnings. That's why some of these DoorDash drivers, Uber Eats drivers, and the rest of the gig workers run 24/7. It's a harsh reality that you gotta face. It's gonna eat into your time. Now let's talk about the efficiencies in delivering the offers. Let's talk about that, man. Often the offers you can receive can be misleading. Some of these DoorDash offers from people, they can be really toxic. Some of them can tip bait you. Some of them can even say that you didn't even bring the order, which will try to get you deactivated. And if you're one of those drivers that do use Uber Eats or DoorDash as a full-time gig, think how important it is when somebody goes and lies on you for something that you didn't do, or for the job that you're just doing. You might get an offer that looks good on the surface, but when you factor in the distance, the time is just not worth it. You're going to get deliveries that's going to take longer than expected when you get to these restaurants and they claim that the order is ready, and you got to turn around and wait an extra 5, 10, 15 minutes for that order. It's a waste of time. Now that what looks like a $10 order for a 2-mile drop off, it's not looking good to you, isn't it? Because you're already spending too much time at the restaurant waiting for the order, which was supposed to be ready. And once you release the order, it's going to take a hit on your ratings. It's going to take a hit on your completion. It's going to take a hit on the money that you could have possibly had made. Lastly, why drivers is quitting, let's look at it this way. Customers' expectations. Now the customers going to blame you for everything. They didn't get a straw, they blame you. They didn't get their fry packet, they blame you. They ordered a Big Mac but got a Whopper instead, they blame you. They ain't gonna blame the restaurant, they're gonna blame you. Hey, why you didn't bring no extra napkins? It's not my job to bring extra napkins. Hey, I asked for a Coca-Cola and you brought me a Pepsi. They put the package together. It's my job to pick it up, make sure that everything that's supposed to be in there by the receipt, and then bring it to you. Now, 9 times out of 10, well, 9 pretty much, all of the packages are wrapped up and sealed. You won't be able to know what's in there. Now DoorDash and Uber is now trying to require us drivers to reopen the package, look in there, make sure everything is in there, but not giving us nothing extra to do it. Oh, whoa, I take that back. DoorDash do, but it's only like, what, 50, 60 cents, 75 cents? We'll give you an extra 75 cents if you check the contents. That don't need, come on. There's a lot of pressure on the drivers to meet these high standards of customers' expectations. Me, myself, I have encountered rude customers and received unfair ratings, which can be disheartening. I take that back. For me, it don't bother me because what I can do is call and get that rating reversed. It feels like you're constantly walking on eggshells, but for me, I don't. You, especially a new DoorDasher, you're trying to please everyone while trying to do your best to keep your AR ratings up and keep your completion ratings up and try to keep your customer ratings up. You're doing too much. You're doing too much. For me, it doesn't matter because if I don't see you, why should you rate me bad? Putting the package on the doorstep don't require much. Leave at door. Okay, leave at door. I left it at the door. Why should I be penalized for something that I do? I didn't see you. I didn't greet you. I didn't do nothing with you. You wasn't there. You wanted your package. You wanted contactless delivery. Okay, so that should be a 5-star considering the fact that I did what you told me to do. But again, like I said, I just do this as a side hustle. I do this as a side job, so it really doesn't matter. But the story, a quick story, right quick.
Hold on.
I was told that if I would bring their packages, Wendy's, up to the 5th floor, which I did, I would get an extra tip. No problem. Call me naive because this is around the time when I first started. So I do that. I knock on the door. I stand right there. Old boy sitting on the couch. I guess that was his boyfriend that opened up the door. They wanted me to actually come in and bring the food to the guy. I'm like, nah, bro, you got to get up and meet me at the door. I'm not coming in nobody's house. I ain't doing that. Oh. So next thing I know, I get downstairs. I didn't get no tip. So if you want to consider that to be tip baited, then I was tip baited. But then the next day I wake up, look at the ratings, and it's a 1 rating on it. What? Because I didn't come in and bring you your food, bro? Get your butt up. 2 steps to the door, 2 steps back, my guy. I did what you told me to do. You asked me to bring it up to the 5th floor. Brother man, from the 5th floor.
Come on, you know me, Martin. Bruh man, upstairs 5th floor. Okay, bruh man from the 5th floor.
You told me to meet you up there, and I did. 1 star though? So I called, hey, I need you to take that 1 star off. This is what happened. A couple of minutes later, reset the app, gone. Poof. Let me finish this podcast up on why DoorDash drivers are quitting, right? Is there any alternatives out there? If you're quitting DoorDash, are there other gig economy jobs that might be much more sustainable? It could be. Options like the rideshare, Uber, and Lyft. If you are doing Uber Eats, I again would suggest you to do Uber. And listen, Uber could be twofold on that too. Get Uber Eats, Uber, and get the rental car. And you could do the Uber Eats and the Uber and Lyft in the car. You could do all of that and consolidate all the money. You can do freelance work, and you could probably get more stability and potentially better offers without having all that stress on you. So, in conclusion, let me go ahead and finish up. I know this is a long one. While DoorDash and Uber and Grubhub can be a great source of quick cash, don't think that you're going to become a millionaire. Don't think this is a get-rich-quick scheme, because it's not. It's not really a long-term solution for many of you drivers out there. The challenges can be unpredictable earnings, strict requirements, vehicle maintenance, and customer pressure that can make it a tough gig. And if you're a current driver, listen, I know a lot of you guys consider my channel a trucking channel, and I do appreciate that. Shout out to the truck drivers, because I know some of you truck drivers out there, y'all do this gig work on the side. I know y'all do. Come on. You get home on a Saturday, you go out for like a couple of hours and then come back. You do it. Don't hate. But I would love to hear some of your challenges. I know one driver in particular, he had issues, but yeah, I would love to hear your challenges and what you have faced in the comments below. Until next time, everybody.